Hello everybody, Adam Jastorski here to quickly tell you about a tool that I recently created to help you build your student groups in your thinking classroom. Now, if you've read Building Thinking Classrooms in Mathematics by Peter Liljedahl, you'll know that for grades 3 and up, the ideal group size is 3 students. And if the number of students in the class is not a multiple of 3, we make 1 or 2 groups of 2 students. And that's exactly what this tool is designed to help you do, to build those groups easily and quickly. Now, when you first load up the tool, which you can do in any web browser, I'll put a link to the tool in the description of this video. When you first load it up, you get a screen that looks like this, and this is just a list of all the students in the class. Now, of course, this is a made-up class here. I'll talk later about how you can customize it for your own class. And one of the things I recommend you do right away, especially if you're projecting this on a screen in the classroom for students, is make it full screen. You can make it full screen using the button in the bottom right corner here. So I'll click that and we have our full screen view. You can see that, that the tool will accommodate up to 40 students. I hope your class is smaller than that. But for demonstration purposes, I'm going to use these names. I'm just going to make it a smaller class though. Maybe we'll make it 27 students. So I'll just delete some of these names for this demo. By the way, the checkboxes that you see beside the names, each checkbox indicates that that student is present and participating in the activity. So there's my class of 27 students. Now, if I click groups, I get my random groups. I have 9 groups of 3 here, and I can randomize as frequently as I like using the randomize button right here. You'll see we get new groups every time I click that button. There's also a list view. If you click list, what we have here is all of the students with their names in alphabetical order and the corresponding group numbers as well. This is kind of handy when you first assign the groups so the students can just quickly find their names, see what group they're in, and get to work right away. Clicking groups here brings you back to this view here with all the groups. Now, what happens if we didn't have a number of students that was a multiple of 3? Well, if I click on the settings button here, I can go and make some changes, and perhaps on a given day, Michelle was away. So I'll just uncheck that checkbox for Michelle there. Now you'll see if I go to groups, I have 8 groups of 3 and 1 group of 2. Okay, and Michelle's no longer in the list. And of course, I can randomize as much as needed and use the list view too. If 2 students were away in this particular class, perhaps Suraj was away as well, now you'll see that I have 7 groups of 3 and 2 groups of 2. So all of that is done automatically. Now, obviously, this is not your class, and you'll want to set this up for your class. And you can use this tool in a sort of ad hoc way. If you load it up, you can click the Clear All Names button here. You can enter your own students' names and make sure you check off the checkboxes if they're participating. But I'm assuming you don't want to enter in those names every day. So is there a way that we can set this up with our class or each of our classes so that it's ready to go every day and there's no need to enter in the names? And there most certainly is, but in order to do that, you have to have somewhere to save it. And we're going to save it on the GeoGebra website. So you have to have a GeoGebra account. It's free, and if you're a math teacher, I highly recommend you use GeoGebra and have a GeoGebra account anyways. But to set that up, we're going to go to geogebra.org, so geogebra.org, and we're going to set up an account. So I'm going to click the sign in button. I already have an account, but you can see here there's an option to create an account. So set that up and sign in, and now we can customize this tool and save it for our own classes. So I'll use the link now that I'm signed in. I'll use the link to go back to the tool. And what I want to do is create a copy of this. Very easy to do. I just click the 3 buttons in the top right corner here, and I go to Copy Activity. Now, say I'm setting this up for my Period 1 class. Maybe I'll change the title here to Period 1. And I want to add in my own students' names. And I can do that. I just need to make sure I click the pencil edit icon right here. So once I've done that, I'll clear all these names and I'll start entering my own students' names. Now I'm just going to put a bunch of characters in here. I'm not going to use real names just to make this a little bit faster. So maybe I'll set up a class that has 14 students, and I want them to be present by default so that when I load this up, they're already checked off. So I'll just check all these off right now, and it is ready to go. So once I'm happy with this list, I'll click done right here, and I'll click save, and it is set. So where is it? Well, if you go to your GeoGebra page, you can do that by going to geogebra.org or just click the logo there. And your icon is up here in the top right. You'll see that the one we just saved, that tool or that applet we just saved, is right here. I click on that and it has the class that we just created. Now, by the way, by default, this is only accessible to people who have that link. It's not made, public by default. I don't know why you'd want to make it public. You do have an option to do that, but in order to access this, you need the link, and the link is right here. So I recommend, either save that to your bookmarks or perhaps save it to your desktop. So each time you want to use this, you just click the link and boom, it's set up, ready to go with your students. You can click groups and they're all there. You can randomize. And of course, if somebody's away, you can go and uncheck the checkbox for that student. One last thing before we wrap up here: what happens if a student is added to your class late in the semester, or if a student leaves your class permanently? No problem. Once your applet or your tool is open here, the period 1 applet I have open, I just want to edit it, and that's easy to do. Just click the three buttons, the three dots here, and select Edit Activity. I can now edit it just like before. We'll make sure we select the pencil edit icon, and perhaps we had maybe a couple students added, so I'll add them in, and then later on perhaps student HGF left the class. I can just delete that student right there, and I don't need to worry about this being blank. I can just leave it. We'll hit done, we'll hit save, and the link that we used before will still work, except now when you open it up, what you'll have is an updated list with those 2 students added and that 1 other student removed. So it's ready to go. And that's it. I hope you find that useful. Take care.